Yeah, anyone has any doubts? Anyone has any doubts? Please let me know. Anyone has any doubts? No one has doubts? Everyone understood clearly? Okay, cool. Yeah, okay. Then let's move on to three-dimensional arrays, okay? Three-dimensional arrays. Three-dimensional arrays. Okay, three-dimensional arrays are nothing but your, say for example, this is your two-dimensional array. So you will have multiple of two-dimensional arrays. Okay, you can assume it like a book with the number of pages. So single-dimensional array, I mean two-dimensional array, you can consider it as a page. Okay, and similar kind, I mean this one, right? Third dimension, you can consider it as number of pages. Okay. Similarly, how we declared. Yeah, do you have any question, Safia? Or you just wanted to agree that it is, we can consider that as a book? Okay, it's like how do you declare? Similar to how we declared two-dimensional array. Okay, so int I, you have to specify 3 dimensions, right? Then equal to new int of 2, 300. Okay, it is like you have 2 rows, you have 3 columns, but you have hundreds of these two-dimensional arrays. Pages, if you can call. Okay, so it is like we have rows, 3 columns. Sorry. Okay. Similarly, we have hundred of such things. Okay, this is how you can visualize three dimensional array. Okay, so as we have seen, for each dimension we need a for loop. Okay, we need a for loop for each dimension. So for 3 dimensional arrays we need 3 for loops. So outer one, I is equal to 0, we can assume, for int j is equal to 0. Okay, for int k is equal to 0, to close first, second, and third. Okay, we need 3 for loops for 3 dimensional arrays. Okay, similarly, for n for loops, I mean n dimensional array, you need n for loops to access individual elements. Okay, maximum what we can see practically is at the max. Okay, three dimensional arrays. Okay, 3 dimensional arrays. So any doubts with this? Any doubts with these things? Okay, let us see. I have mentioned one more point here. So is it mandatory to declare for 2 dimensional arrays? Is it mandatory to declare the second dimension? It is not required. Okay. So how you specify? I is equal to new 2 comma. This is also valid. But how do you specify the dimension here? So what you want to? It can have. So whatever we have seen so far for 2 dimensional arrays, we will have equal number of columns, right? Okay, row 1, row 2. this is column. Okay, so here what is happening, row is constant, but we can change the number of columns. Okay, what is that? Int I of 0, we have 2 rows, okay, is equal to int of, say I want only 1. Okay, now 1 int of 2. So what is happening now? You will have first row, you will have only 1 element. Okay, second row you will have 2 elements because we have specified 2 elements. It is important to note that these represent, okay, these are rows and these represents your columns, number of columns. The size you specify here represents columns. The size you represent here column, but here you are accessing the rows. Okay, because you have specified the size of your rows. Okay, so this will have, this definition will have whatever we have defined here. This definition will have 1 element identified by 0, 0. Okay, 2 elements in the second row. First row only 1, 1, 0, 1, 1. Okay, are you all getting whatever I'm telling? I'm not sure. No, okay. Pawan has a question. Yeah, Pawan. Yeah.
Hello.
Do you have any question? Yeah, Pawan.
Actually, I didn't understand the concept of the two-dimensional array without initializing the column. Can you explain that to me?
Yeah. No. Okay. Yeah. So what is what you can? I mean, it is not always. So my point is, it is not always mandatory to specify both dimensions or the size of a row and column. Okay, what we normally do, int I is equal to new int of 3, 5. So here what we are doing, we are specifying the size. We are specifying the size of both rows and columns, right? But it is not mandatory to specify the column length here. Okay, it is not mandatory to specify the column length here. 1 row is needed, but we can modify this as we go. Okay, say for example, I'll declare like this. This will have 3 rows, right? This will have 3 rows, but 5 columns. Okay, 3 rows and 5 columns. But when you specify like this, you do not have to specify the length of column. Okay, you have to specify, that is not mandatory, but you have to specify the row. Okay, now how you can allocate the columns? Individually you can allocate the columns. It is not necessarily that you should have same number of columns for each row. Okay, you need not, in this situation I'm telling, in this situation or in this syntax, whatever the syntax we are using, it is not mandatory to have same number of columns in each row. Okay, so say for example, I want to have like this. This is first row. This is second row. This is third row. Normally we will not use this one, I mean in this way, but this is one of the way you can kind of like use arrays. Okay, no, I mean you won't even use it. If at all situation arises, let us know this. Okay, let us have an idea on this one. Okay, so what is happening here? This is 1 row, this is second row, this is third row. So this is column 0, column 1, column 2. Okay, this is your column 1. This is your column 2. This is your column 0. Okay, so row 0, row 1, row 2. So here, how many number of columns we have? We have 1 column. Here, how many? 2. Here, how many? 3. Okay, how do you define that one? I of 0 is equal to mu I of 1. So here, this represents your column length. Okay, this represents your row element. Okay, I of 1 is equal to mu int of 2. Similarly, mu int of 3. Okay. Did you get Pawan? Okay. So with these things, we will finish arrays. Okay. And okay. Let us do one simple 2-dimensional array accessing. Okay. Let us define one 2-dimensional array, and then okay, I need to. So do anyone has any doubts regarding arrays? 2-dimensional array and 3-dimensional array and single-dimensional array? Yeah, Pawan, you still have a doubt? Yeah, Pawan, do you have doubt? Yeah, please go ahead. I have unmuted you. Please go ahead, Pawan. Yeah, I have unmuted you, Pawan. You can speak. Can you hear me? Okay. It looks like he doesn't have this one. Okay, let us define. Okay, we are talking. One more important thing to remember here is I am taking only int as example here. Okay, you can have any an array of any data type. Yesterday, one participant or one of you were asking, right? User defined data type, right? So you can have user defined data type of arrays also. Similarly, like we have this one, okay, like this one. You can have that user defined data types of array type also. Okay, we will define 2 square brackets for 2-dimensional array. With new operator, we will assign the length. Okay, 2, 3. Okay, so as we that's what we saw, right? Variable column size. Okay, one important thing what Ron was telling, right? So we have what do you mean? So okay, let us try to use that one. Whatever Ron was mentioning, we will try to use that. Okay, so that is the length property of an object. Okay, so let me take this and we will extend it. Okay, so what? Okay, let us first see what is an object. Okay, so we just we will in another 2 classes we will start with the object and then classes. Okay, before that, let us have this thing in our mind. Okay, so class, yeah, Pawan. In case I declare the size of column to be 10 and I give 11th column, will Java allow it? Yesterday we saw, right? So what did we see? So what is the Pawan's question is, I specify column size as 10. That means you will have 10 columns. For each row, 10 columns will be there. So what will happen if you try to access the 11th column? Okay, we saw yesterday, it tells one particular exception, which clearly says it's a bounds exception, out of bounds exception, right? That is what will happen. Okay, so we have one class defined. Okay, so what are we doing here? We'll just say int height int. Okay, let us take one simple example. Okay, class, what we can say, box int height is equal height. Let us mention height. Okay. Okay, I'll come to your point. Okay, and let me finish this one, and I'll come to you. Yeah. So this is your second question, but I'm still telling. Okay. So for your first question, I'm just trying to explain this height and length and width. Let us take length and width. Okay. Okay. Length and width. Okay. We have defined one particular class called box. Okay. Here, when you say this is just a what do you say? This is just a description of your box. This one is, what is this? This is your code which describes your box. Okay, this is your description of box. Okay, so when we say int I of array, right? So we saw that there is nothing like you have memory allocated to it. It is just a variable name. Okay, it is just a variable name which will not have any memory allocated to it. Similarly, this is just a description. Okay, whatever you say, this is just a description. So this is just a description. So in one of our class, I try to explain it with the real, just an example, right? So it is like a description, but when you have an actual object, take any box. Okay, take any box. Say for example, this is your box. Okay, this is your box. This is the actual box which will have your length and if I can call this one, give me a second. Here what we are talking about is, here we are talking the actual box. Okay. Here we are talking about actual box. So this is just a description. Okay, it is inside in your code. This is just inside in your code. So this is the actual box. You can have n number of such actual boxes. Okay, n number of such actual boxes. But note that each box will not be different. I mean, each box will not be same. It can be same. Okay, but let us assume each box is not same. This will have separate length and breadth. Okay, separate length and breadth. separate length and width, okay, 10 cross 2, 20 cross 1, 30 cross 5, 5 cross 5, okay, length and width. So these are all your actual boxes. This is just a description of your box, okay. So these are called, I mean, you can assume like these are, whenever I say actual boxes, you can hold it, right? Whenever you say you can hold it, whenever you say hold it, it actually takes up some space in your hand or wherever it is, right? Similarly, these are all your instances. These are all your instances. Okay, these are all your instances. Instance is nothing but an object. Okay, instance is nothing but an object. Okay, which actually exists in your memory. Okay, instance is nothing but an object which actually takes up some memory in your physical RAM. That is your RAM. Okay, that is why it is called as an instance of a class. Okay, that is why we call it as an instance of class. Okay, as such, the class itself will not take any space in your RAM. Okay, the code will be there, but actually the instance exists in your memory. Okay, so each instance will have its own state. Each instance will have its own state. So how do you define a state? The values within these variables define your instance state. Did you understand what is this instance means? Did you understand what is instance means? This is just a description. This is what actually exists in RAM. Okay, but whatever you declare here, right? Just immediately after your class definition, whatever you declare, each and every instance will have a copy of these variables. Okay, that is why this is called as instance variables. Each and every instance will have its own copy of these variables. Yeah, sure, Pawan, sure. Okay. No, they are not. No, Panindra. They are. Panindra is asking, are they class variables? Aren't they class variables? So we will. Okay. So I don't want to elaborate more on this particular point. Okay, we will see. So there are something called as instance variables and class variables. Okay. So when you mention static, okay, that becomes your static means instance variable. Or no, static means it's class variable. Okay. Without static, that is your instance variable that you declare immediately after your class or after your class. Okay. So static means if you assign a value to a static variable, you declare that also here only immediately after your class. Static means it will have same value for all the instances, but instance variable you will have each and every instance will have its own instance variable, but you can have different values for each instance for instance variables. We will see all these things very clearly. So why I came to this point is Hugh pointed out one interesting thing, that is So the length property or length is a so as I told, arrays are implemented as objects in Java. So each object will have one instance variable called length. Okay, this length will have the size of your array. Okay, that's how you can, like, say for example, I have I of into, okay, into I is equal to new int of 10. Okay, I dot length will give 10. Okay, so that is why I extend all those things. Similarly, for two-dimensional arrays, you can assume. Okay, you will have I and for example, you will have R and C, right? R dot length, or you can say how you can access this one. I will show you. So for the int I is equal to new int of 10. Okay, I dot length will give 10. Okay, I dot length will have 10. Okay, for int I of new int of 2 comma 3. How do you access the length of length is nothing but your this one, right? The individual element 0 dot length will give your this column. Okay, that way you can access it. Okay, so you can try multiple things here, and one apart from whatever we discussed in for single dimensional array, right? The exercises, that is sorting, finding maximum, minimum of a value, and then corresponding index. We can try like array addition, two-dimensional array, 2D array addition. Take two arrays, array A, array B of same size, and add. Okay, and array addition or subtraction you can try. Okay, addition and subtraction. Try addition and subtraction, and then multiplication. There are some conditions for multiplication, right? RC. Okay, this RC should be column. Column of first should be equal to row of the second one with which you are multiplying this and this, right? All those conditions you should try. Okay, all those conditions you have to try, and then write program for multiplication. Similarly, trace of a matrix. Okay, try all these things. It will be very interesting when you try all those things. Okay, first one is addition or subtraction. Second one, multiplication. Third one, trace. You can try. If you can think of any other things, you can try all those things. Okay. Also, along with these three, try for whatever we discussed for single dimensional array. Single dimensional arrays. Okay. Okay. I think we are done with this particular topic, arrays, and from tomorrow we don't have, but on Saturday we'll have a session on operators. Okay, we have session on operators. So anyone has any questions? But don't get confused, too much confused with the class and objects. We will have a separate session where I will explain each and every point related to classes. Okay, class, what is meant by a class? Okay, and what do you mean by an object? Okay, so when you have how many objects can you have? What are the things that are associated with the objects, and how object and classes are related? All those things. Okay. So if I'm not, yeah, Neha, Saturday, will the session be uploaded? Yes, exactly. I will always share the sessions, right? That's what is my understanding. Okay, we always share the sessions. Yeah, surely. Yeah, anyone has any other questions? So, okay. So, it is like I have some personal work to do. Because of that, I will not be able to take class tomorrow. In fact, I will be out of station. Okay, so I'll be traveling tomorrow. So that is why I will not be able to take class. Okay. So, but on Saturday I will be there in another place. So from there I can take the class. That's why I told I'll take class on Saturday. Okay. So any other questions you have? Somebody has asked question, I guess. Okay. Okay. Good. Yeah. We'll start. We will have a session on operators, and we will try to explore what are all the operators available in Java, and the precedence of each and every operator, how to overcome the precedence whenever we have some doubts, right? How to overcome all the precedence, those things by using what are your parentheses. Okay. And one more thing I want to mention here, I forgot to record the session halfway. In between I remembered and then I started recording. Probably this session will have only half of the information. Okay. So if possible, I'll try to cover this alone and then try to share it. Okay. Yeah. Thanks everyone. Thank you very much. Let us wind up this session. Have a great evening. Enjoy your evening. Bye bye. Thanks, Manindra. Thanks, everyone.